So yeah, no, the levels is the microphone's on.
Yeah, microphone's on. Everything is good.
Oh man, how's it work?
So this is just a test run.
Yeah, no,
because like obviously, if we were going to do an official one, we would be a little bit more prepared rather than like, hey, let's hook this up real quick.
Who the fuck cares about preparedness?
Right.
I don't really care about preparedness. I'm more worried about Thomas Ian Nicholas coming on this bitch later. Fucking, I want him to be impressed with my mad skrills.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brandon Corey Alexander, and my co-host today is going to be Mr. Tim Barco, aka Timmy B. And this is your pilot episode of the Addicted to Chaos podcast. It is a rebranding of sorts of a brand that I created literally 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like literally 20 years ago.
We're addicted to chaos because it's still better than fentanyl.
Well, actually, I was a big Megadeth fan. Whenever I was growing up, man, I was in my teenage years, I became a metalhead, and Addicted to Chaos is the name of one of their songs. And I was like, well, I don't want to completely bite their steez, so let me just change that C to a K.
Hey. That's all it takes sometimes. Man.
Yeah. Michael Jackson songs and whatnot.
Hey.
This is the pilot episode. A2K episode 0, I guess.
Test run here. We're
going to
make sure that we can actually pull this off.
Yeah. Our topic of conversation today is going to be the 2000s and movies, specifically movie sequels that are better than the original. And Timmy and I always have a conversation, and every time I bring this conversation up, I always say that Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls is better than Pet Detective.
I don't know, man. To me, the first one, it's always that classic, bro. Like, I mean, come on, Cannibal Corpse is in it.
Cannibal Corpse is it?
You know, and then the shark scene, you know.
Do you remember the password?
Yeah. Fuck, what was it?
New England clam chowder.
The white?
Is that the red or the white?
I never get this one right. White?
Come on in, Ace. Fucking, I don't even know who that guy is, but I love that man.
Yeah. Not to mention like the landlord scene, which oddly enough was the assassin that was supposed to blow up that one car with that speaker in Scarface.
No, actually you're right. I never even thought about that. But also, is it Ace Ventura or is it like how the landlord says it? Ventura.
Ventura. Yes, Satan?
I smell animals, Ventura. Animals.
No, he said he heard them. And he was like saying like, oh no, like hold on a second, I can like show you, like, all right, come on in, you know, like I'll show you. And then of course he does. He taught all these animals this
my
key code.
My favorite thing is the penguins coming out of the refrigerator like a little doggy door. Like, how the hell do you not notice that as a landlord? How do you not notice like all the fixtures and shit? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But no, seriously, why don't you think When Nature Calls is better than Pet Detective?
I just feel like the story of the original was better structured. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know. I just feel like that with the sequel, like it just kind of went a little bit like too far into the goofiness of what it is that he does, and you know.
I mean, dude, it's Jim Carrey.
It is Jim Carrey, yes, but I don't know. Like to me personally, I just feel like the original was had a more structured story and whatnot. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I mean, both movies have timeless quotables. Like I still say Finkel is Einhorn all the time.
Exactly.
I still
the balcony scene when he was proving like how the double pane glass was soundproof. Yeah. You know, to me that was it just had much better writing, you know. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with When Nature Calls. I just feel like the original was better.
I can't necessarily agree with you, but I will say that if any two movies are tied for back-to-back hilarity, it's got to be the Ace Ventura series. Simply because of the quotables, man. When people ask me for stuff at work now, I'll just be like, no, thank you, and I'd appreciate it if you'd stay out of my affairs or something. Like, you know, if somebody asked me for some gum or something.
Yeah.
You're a heck of a guy, Ace. Thanks, Dan. Or the, if I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. Like, I still use that to this day. Also, But other movies that had sequels to me that are better is like one we always argue about and talk. Like we both agree on this one is Empire.
Yeah,
Empire Strikes Back,
hands down. Yeah, it was so much better than A New Hope. Again, not taking nothing away from the original Star Wars. You know,
the original Star Wars kind of set the bar for everything, just simply because George Lucas did everything independently. Like he created all the special effects. He hired out people to do stuff. Like they basically made clay models and toys and stuff like that on backgrounds.
It is. I was watching a documentary on what was it called? It was on Disney Plus. I think it's actually the documentary is actually called Industrial Lights.
Yeah.
And
they go into the special effects of Star Wars.
Of course, it starts off with Star Wars because it started it all, and that includes Pixar. You know what I mean? Because George Lucas invented the computer that made Pixar possible because they had to create a specific computer to get these CGI effects that they needed in order to not be yet another state of the art whatever.
They had to build like a special computer.
Right, a special computer, then and like you were saying, the models that they actually use. And then they just let's
talk about the time frame. I mean, because nowadays, think about it. Like people
keep in mind that's the 70s.
Yeah, we hear about movies being made nowadays where they talk about, oh, this is in principal photography.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, it's in post-production, and then another 2 months after that, it's in theaters.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks after that, it's already on some sort of streaming platform.
Things are definitely moving significantly faster now.
Back in the day, you had to build the props, you had to find a stage, you had to do principal photography for
which
locations.
By the way is how we got Han Solo.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford actually was a framer on the set of Star Wars, and they ended up giving him the part of Han Solo.
Hey, would you like to play a scoundrel? Would you like to go a speed that I'm just going to completely make up? Parsecs? What is that? What is even that? No, Empire was good, but I like A New Hope for what it was because I appreciate the fact that George Lucas went out on a limb. Mm-hmm. He extended an olive branch to a lot of different folks, gave people jobs, and people tried to write him off. Like they
because of how it was written. Like even Mark Hamill said, like he was showing the script to a couple of people, and he was like, "Dude, this thing is so silly.
Who is Luke Starkiller?
Who's going to watch this? This is ridiculous, you know." And now look at it.
What is this? A space samurai movie? This doesn't make any sense at all.
A space opera.
Yeah, it's basically it's a space samurai film. I mean, look at Darth Vader's helmet. That's where it's inspired from. Is different samurais.
It's Shredder without the turtles.
Basically. You know, when I was a kid, I used to get those two confused. I'd see Shredder and see Vader and be like, oh, look, they're one and the same.
I mean, let's be honest. Like the shape of the helmet, they're both shaped like a dick. So
that's, speaking of Ninja Turtles, like not to have an ADD moment here, but like that's a sequel that I think is not better than the original. Like the original Turtles, the only thing that was good about the Secret of the Ooze is Vanilla Ice. The Go Ninja
That is literally the only good part about it. But like, I feel like when they did the sequel, first of all, they came out in the same year.
Yeah.
Right? They almost immediately, as soon as they wrapped production, they were like, oh yeah, this is going to take off. Let's immediately do the sequel. But you can definitely tell that the second one was very much rushed.
Yeah.
And they dumbed it down, lack of a better term. They dumbed it down and made it more kid friendly, which I kind of didn't like, you know, because the original, that thing was dark. Like for what it is, that movie was dark.
I liked it though.
And that's what I loved about it. Like it catered more so to the teenage and adult audiences, even though like what the movie was about. Like, come on, man. Like these are mutant turtles that do karate. You know what I mean?
Do you mean these little tiny gopher turtles?
The storyline, it was so deep. You know what I'm saying? It had damn near like it was just a step away from having a murder in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, like my favorite character was always like Casey Jones. It's either Donatello or Casey Jones. I loved the idea of like a hockey mask vigilante.
Oh yeah, Casey Jones. You know,
I even had a friend named Casey Jones, which was funny because as we grew up, I made fun of him. I was like,
it's the Batman version of Jason Voorhees.
Basically, yeah, non-murderous version, but damn near murderous. That motherfucker almost killed people with like a hockey stick and shit.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for Raph, you know, he would have definitely.
Can we just talk about how hot April O'Neil was, though? Like everybody always talks about
also
first
in
crushes.
The original, because I don't think that she came back for the sequel.
No, she didn't. Sequels that were better than the first movie, the original.
5 Goes West.
I wasn't gonna. No, I was gonna say Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Mortal Kombat, like people shit on the '90s Mortal Kombat movies a lot.
I will be honest with you; it's been so long since I have seen that. Like, I honestly don't feel like I can really talk on that because it's just not really in my memory as much.
I understand.
I probably saw it like right around the time when it came out, and then not again since. So
I believe the original Mortal Kombat came out in '95 or '96, I believe, and it only had like 8 characters. Of course, so did the first game and stuff. You have Liu Kang, you have Johnny Cage, you have Sonya Blade, you have Goro, you have Scorpion, Sub-Zero, I think Reptile, and Katana are in the movie.
Right.
Shang Tsung, of course, is the big bad for the first one.
Right.
And Dexter's father plays Raiden. I think that's who. No, I'm sorry. He played Raiden in the second movie.
No kidding.
Yeah, James Remar or whatever, however you say his last name. It's weird. I'll have to look that up, and I'm sorry if I butcher it. Sorry, James, if you're ever going to be a fan of this.
You will forever be Dexter's dad.
Yeah, you're typecasted.
And, of course, our favorite warrior.
You're just like Sean Scott. You are forever like Stifler. You are forever Dexter's
I don't know,
dad.
man. Sean William Scott did a phenomenal job on Bloodlines.
I still have yet to watch that. I need to watch it. But
think of Stifler in a Dexter setting. Bro, that movie.
What do you mean
amazing.
You had sex with my mom? Stab, stab, stab. Like he doesn't go. He doesn't go after criminals.
Deeper than that. He plays a school guidance a guidance therapist kind of.
Yeah, no, I saw the trailer. You made me watch it. I've been meaning to watch it.
Their parents abuse them. They're on his kill list to save these kids. Basically,
what did you do? No, so Tim has this uncanny thing he does where he will tell me to watch things and then I will watch them and then give feedback. Like he told me to watch a movie called The Package.
Oh my God.
Yes. And I had never heard of The Package because we're always talking about how we like slapstick comedies and stupid shit. And I'm talking about like the new ones, 2010 and beyond are just not the same as it was back in the the late 90s, early 2000s and stuff. And then he told me to watch The Package. And so I did. And watching this movie, dude, what the entire fuck? I was like, why is it called The Package? I don't get it. And then like 5 minutes into the film, I'm like, oh, that's what. For spoiler alert for anybody who's never seen this movie, I want to give you 5 seconds to like just.
But to be fair, it is the very beginning of the movie practically. Yeah. So like you're still not really giving too much.
So like 3, 2, 1. Basically, dude gets his dick cut off, and the entire movie is his friends trying to deliver it to various hospitals, figuring out where he's at, and his actual dick gets attached to another guy, then gets re-cut off by a psycho girlfriend, then reattached to another. Like, it's a fucking crazy movie. And I watched it and I immediately came back to him. I was like, dude, you're fucking crazy. Like, I can't believe
I've never seen this. I gotta admit, it was almost like a glimmer of hope for comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like, this is what I remember. And you were saying something in the intro saying like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
This is what I remember from slapstick comedy in the early 2000s, you know, things like Old School and
you remember like it wasn't necessarily about the jokes, but it was the delivery of the jokes.
Yes.
Like when Thomas Ian Nicholas Kevin, when he looks at Stifler in American Pie 2 and he says, "Hey Stifler, how's the pale ale?" Like just the way he said it, because Stifler just got pissed on or drank piss, or it was the first one. Because he drank the piss. Come to find out, it ruined it all those years later to find out that it was actually egg whites or something. Like, I was like, damn.
I mean, thank God, you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine that boardroom meeting? It's like, all right, man, so there's going to be this scene.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, so we're going to need you to take one for the team.
Somebody's jerking off in a cup and you're going to drink it. What the fuck? Am I getting a bonus for this? At all?
For hazmat risk.
like, did we get tested here? Like, is there STDs in this? No, but like one of the topics of conversation in terms of us having a conversation about sequels being better is like, I'm a big fan of American Pie.
Yes.
The entire franchise, but American Pie 2 is my go-to whenever I'm rewatching the series. Like I could skip 1 and go straight to 2 because that American Pie 2 reminds me so much of my like youth.
Post high school.
Not even,
no?
I was doing that kind of shit in high school. But like even in my college years and stuff like that, like I would get like before Airbnbs were a thing, we'd find like a month-long rental during the summer.
Right.
Somewhere
like a vacation home that you rent.
Yeah, like a vacation home or something like that. And we'd go do that sort of shit. And the nostalgic feeling you get from seeing them do that, have a lot of fun, go through their trials and tribulations, and then have to depart and go on about their regular lives.
Well, that was fun. Like back to reality.
It initiates within me. It initiates this like, it elicits an emotion that I'm like, oh man, I missed that. Because now here I am sitting 36 years old, and I'm like, man, it's really fucking tough to do some shit like this nowadays.
Truth be told, I feel like the American Pie series, like this could honestly like be an episode in itself, you know, because there is just so much to talk about.
I think there's 10 of them.
And honestly, like even if we don't talk about the spinoffs, just the initial 4 movies that were made, which also
it was 4, wasn't it?
It was 4 official ones, and then the rest of them were spinoffs.
And then there were like 4 or 5 spinoffs.
3 to 5 spinoffs.
So you had Bandcamp, Naked Mile, Beta House, Book of Love, and Girls Rules. So 5.
Yeah.
Girls Rules sucked.
I didn't see it.
I just recently watched it because it tried to take back the original formula and stuff like that. It's about a girl who wants to lose her virginity before she gets out of high school. It fucking sucks. It's horrible. It's like you always say about how people turn movies into like Netflix. It's like put a chick in it.
You know what? Like, honestly, like, yeah, that story, in my opinion, doesn't really work. And please forgive me for saying this, but if you're a girl trying to lose your virginity, just make yourself available.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Us guys, we're dogs, man. Like, let's be honest. You know what I mean? Everybody trying to like pass their lipstick on to somebody else.
No, but like, all right. So yeah, the American Pie series, I feel like those are movies that got better with age.
Yeah.
Like realistically, like the first one when it came out, 1999, I liked that because like it's high school. I was only like 10 years old or something like that at the time. So I didn't get a lot of the jokes, but when I got older and rewatched it, I started to get it. And I found out there's actually like 3 different versions of the first American Pie.
Our generation's Porky's.
Yeah. Or the Birdcage or any of those movies.
Right.
But no, like I found out later on that there were actually, I believe 3 versions of the first American Pie movie. So there's the TV version,
right,
which cuts out all the naughty stuff and
of course,
blah 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 and all that shit.
Lame.
Then there's 2 other versions. There's the regular the theatrical, and then I think there's an unrated version. Right. Both of those have alternate pie scenes. And if
really,
yeah. So like where Jim's humping the pie or whatever. I'm not even gonna sure if we're gonna get kicked off the air for this one, but yeah. So there's one where he's like on top of the counter missionarying the pie, and then there's another one where he's like standing up doing it.
No,
yeah, it's like I'll have to look it up and show you. But
so they basically extended the scene.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's kind of like a director's cut version or something. I don't know which one you'd consider dirty because the dude's like fucking pie. He's literally having sex with a pie. There's an extended scene with the shit break scene.
Okay,
I think it's a little bit longer.
This is like when Stifler did.
When he puts the laxative, when he put the laxative in Finch's
mochaccino.
Finch had the mochaccino. Like, yeah, what an oh my god.
I guess he's gonna learn how to take a shit in the school this time.
Everybody seen Finch? Nah, man. Heard he went home to take a shit. Well, could you tell him I'm looking for him? Like, and the stupidity of the high schoolers, like how they paid.
I wouldn't say stupidity. How naive they were.
Well, Finch paid Jessica like $100 or whatever to talk, like brag about him, and then suddenly he became like the hottest thing in school. And why was Finch in the beginning, before any of this even happened, before he got his ego crushed? Like, why was he such a pompous asshole? Like the Latin and all that, like the
he's
superiority.
Just a very cultural guy. You know what I'm saying?
He's cultured. He's sophisticated.
They're gay.
That's another thing. Like the American Pie series told jokes that you can't get away with.
And you know
now.
what? Like, I can't even say that like there is any way of saying that any of the sequels like either took something away or whatever. It always felt like it was the essence of what American Pie was about. And
it's about growing up.
Okay, so
having a life.
The original, goated, of course. American Pie 2, a phenomenal sequel, and it actually felt like a great continuation of the story. It felt like
a real life.
And then American Wedding, you're almost growing up with these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So naturally, the setting changes a little bit, you know, to catch up with the actual age they're supposed to portray.
I don't know about growing up with these guys. Allison Hannigan never blew me in a restaurant underneath the table. Well, I can't believe my son's gonna pop the question. What is this? What is this popping? What is this popping the question? What popping what?
Well, basically, it's like I can't even tell you. I feel like American Pie, like if we're talking about the original movies, non-spinoffs, they've been very consistent.
Yeah. I mean,
very consistent.
So if you look at the time gaps between all of them, you've got the first three, 1999 to 2003. So you have a good like 4.5 to 5 year run of good generational slapstick comedy. I mean, you've got them in high school, then you've got them in college after the first year, going on vacation for summer and stuff like that. And then you've got high school love, weird, awkward tension, sexual tension and stuff like that, becomes husband and wife. Stifler's antics with the shaving and all that stuff in the cake. And then he redeems himself because Stifler somehow always seems to redeem himself. He's the biggest asshole. Like Jim said in Reunion, you're a dick, but you're our dick.
Yes. That's what you are to our friend group.
Yeah, I'm the Stifler of the friend group. But then you go right into like Reunion, which is such an awkward film too, because it was like 13 years.
But beautifully made.
It was beautifully made.
The way the story went, I think it was perfect.
But it was 13 years. Like even in the movie, they like, are you going to the 13 year? Who does that? Like it is an odd number. It's such an odd number.
But I guess like the time frame of when the movie actually released,
it
was accurate to, you know, because you know how people on the internet are going to be like, oh, well, this movie came out at this year and the last one was at this year. You know how
I think that they meant to put this movie out in like 2009.
And it just
didn't be a 10-year thing, and it just didn't work.
It just didn't work out, or like either the funding wasn't there, or the script wasn't ready, or the idea just came a little too late.
And speaking of like the sequels and stuff, like let's talk about the elephant in the room. Oz wasn't in Wedding, and he even made that joke in Reunion. He's like, "I missed your wedding. I'm not gonna miss this."
Right?
Like, what the fuck happened there? Why was Oz, Mr. Do You Believe in Magic, like trying to get choir chick fucker, not in his best friend's wedding?
Was cutting rug on, you know, Dancing with Celebrities, Dancing with the Stars.
Celebrity dance.
That's probably why he missed it, because he had to beat Hulk Hogan
and Gilbert Gottfried smashed his ass. No, dude. And then American Reunion came out. And that to me is the most true to life sequel, because that's exactly what it feels like to get old and want to relive the glory days. Like in that movie, I am Stifler.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
I work a 9-to-5 job, and then I finally get some time off with the boys, and all I want to do is just go out and be antics.
I like to think I'm the Jim in this situation, minus pie fucking.
Yeah.
I have never been
you're the one
desperate, but I am awkward.
You're the one that's in a relationship. You have the kids and stuff like that.
Trying so hard to do right.
You're trying to be like the man, and so whereas I'm like the Stifler, and I'm in the beach, and I'm like, vagina shark, you know? Oh my God, I love Justin Bieber. Like stupid shit. But then, like, all of our friends are individual characters. Like, I would say that Lucci's probably the most like Finch.
Yeah.
Charlie is probably the most like either Oz or Kevin.
Easily. Yeah.
And Gene is definitely.
I would say
Gene is definitely more of a Kevin type.
Say more so Kevin.
Gene, I think Gene's more of a Kevin type, because Gene is trying to be the guy who wants to keep the ball rolling, whereas
I think so.
Whereas Charlie is more like the ladies' man. Like
Gene would be the one to bring to start the whole first step thing, or the next step.
The next step. Stop with the stepping. Like enough with that.
Yeah, let's not.
Whereas Lucci is the one who's just like trying to.
And then here you are talking about like, I fuck Finch's mom.
Yeah, what was that?
I feel like something very bad is happening right now.
That play on words was so good. Like he's about to smash in a bathroom stall at fucking Reunion prom. And then he stops midway. The camera pans to his face. He's like, "What's wrong?" "I don't know. I have a feeling something terrible's about to happen." "Don't worry, I'll be as quiet as a church mouse." Like she just goes right into it.
And that's how they brought back the MILF guys.
Yeah.
John Cho and
I don't know the other guy. He doesn't matter.
Nobody knows
fucking
him.
Harold from Harold and Kumar over there. And they're because those two were beefing in the movie.
Yeah.
And then they reunited on the bleachers where the MILF thing happened, and they're watching Stifler like just go at Finch's mom and like, MILF.
Yes. On the 50-yard line.
Yeah, and they're crying and they're like, MILF. And then they embrace each other. But no, American Reunion just felt like a true to life.
It was a beautiful movie.
It felt true to life about like how we deal with our own real life. Cause like we already did the high school thing. We already did the college. Well, some of us went to college. You're fucking dumb. We went through the college years. We'll call that the early rap career years. Cause like we were trying to find ourselves in our early 20s. And then we went through like the wedding era of shit where we're like adults, but we're not quite there yet because we're in our early 20s.
Trying to be, but you know.
Yeah. We're like in our early 20s. We haven't quite hit once you hit the 30 mark, you're like, okay. Then you've got the friend who doesn't want to stop partying and shit like that. And it's just, so like American Pie, I think all of the movies are pretty well tied.
Honestly,
I don't want to say one's better than the other.
With American Reunion, like I have to admit, like that's how I always pictured my high school reunion would happen. Maybe not like so much into the comedy aspect, but imagine not seeing the people you grew up with for so many years. Life moves on. Like, okay, great fucking example, right? I go back, I finally get my passport back and I go back to Germany. Like, how do you imagine this whole thing is going to play out? I go back and I see my old friends I was in middle school with. They're all grown, got kids. I'm grown and got kids.
Such an awkward ass
You know what
moment.
I'm saying? And you're trying to sit there and catch up this entire time. And there's so much to tell, but you only have this one night to catch everything up, get reacquainted and be like, hey, how have you been? How are you? Like, are you successful? What is it that you're doing? That is exactly how I would feel like, you know,
I
flipping
agree.
through the yearbook and all of that stuff. It's like, oh my God, this was you back then and blah, 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 blah.
No, I definitely agree with you there, but I kind of feel like those instances are kind of why I fall into the depressions that I do, because I am at a point in my life where I'm finally okay. Like I'm at my American Reunion stage. Like I'm finally okay with being like the guy that goes to work and has a side career and has a hustle, and I'm still collecting checks off my like music and stuff from back in the day. So I get like once a month, I get to relive the glory of like what I did.
Right.
However, like our upcoming trip to Atlanta, like that's going to be a very Stifler moment for me. Like fucking round of shots for the boys. And you know then you're going to fucking wake up with a clear glass pan over your dick or something.
You know what's actually kind of weird? Like for you, like all these like American Pie sequels are kind of out of order because it's like right now you're feeling like you're in your American Reunion stage, but now we're going to go to Atlanta. We got an Airbnb, you know, and they got the
American
whole crew.
Pie 2 stage.
You're gonna now finally experience the American Pie 2 kind of thing.
No, I mean not necessarily. Yeah, you are kind of right. You're onto something there, but I feel like no, it's still American Reunion
like you
because
still got your crew
it's
with you.
Yeah,
you know,
my best friends are going to be with me, minus one of them, and we're going to be in a different location, i.e., the lake, where we're going to be surrounded by different people that we do not know, and I'm going to be like, "Hey guys, let's have some fun," and you're going to be like, "I don't know, man."
Our lake is going to be more like probably a puddle.
It's going to be more like
we're going to fill the bathtub so we have a body of water.
It's going to be a sea of people in the fucking hip hop conference. That's what that
I will tell you this though, like I am not gluing my hand to my dick.
No, God, no. I don't know how. Oh my God. Like I said, you can't make those movies.
No, not
like
today.
The jokes. Like they perfectly executed that with not only the music score, but like the reactions. Yes. He's like, put your hands up. I can't. Put both hands up. I'm glued. And then his pants fall. I'm sorry. Like you could not get away with that nowadays.
No.
You're immediately getting diddied in jail. You're getting thrown away for some sort of thing. Like there's you're on a registry somewhere. It's terrible.
For a stupid mistake.
Getting back on topic of like sequels, let's move into like sequel TV shows. Like you and I are both big fans of Dexter.
Yes.
Right? Let's talk about how goated Original Sin is.
Oh man.
I fucking I did not.
It was fantastic.
I liked New Blood. New Blood was
all the way down to the casting. It was just so perfect. Spot on.
Like I love the original Dexter series up until like season 6, 7, and 8. I wasn't a big fan of the last 3 seasons, but they were still good.
Yeah.
I read the books and none of them have to do with anything, so I got more of a different experience watching it. The ending of the original people hate, but for some reason I like it. when New Blood came out, I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna pick up right where we left off a little bit.
Right.
He kind of moved to another place. He's got like this very lumberjack feel to him.
Truth be told, like I would. Okay,
Jack Alcott plays
since you're talking
Harrison,
about the original ending that people hated, I will tell you this: if they had just left it right as Dexter rode his boat into the hurricane, then you see pieces of slice of life float around in the ocean.
Do you think that them making him a lumberjack is what killed it?
That last 10 seconds of the whole show, of
see
that
Dexter
final episode, that
jeans.
yes, he's still alive. If they had just killed him off, everybody would have been happy. I ain't gonna lie. Like, was I happy to see New Blood? Yes, I was absolutely happy that they brought that in.
Well, hold on, let's discuss the ending real quick, especially that last season, because the last season to me of Dexter, the original series, feels rushed because there's a lot of things that don't make sense. Like, how are you in a hospital? There's a pending storm coming. Your sister has been shot and is in a coma on life support. Everybody's running around, and you're just going to pull the plug and carry her out of the hospital?
Because of exactly that. Everybody's running around. They're not exactly worried about what's going on right now.
They've got
They're
people on
all
fucking gurneys and stuff, loading them into other ambulances, and this dude's just dressed in his kill suit, by the way, walking with her.
Who's paying attention right now because they have so much stuff going on?
I guess you're right. It just doesn't. I feel like that scene
Police
could have
is everywhere
been,
because Deb is in there.
I feel like that. And first of all, if that's your sister and also semi kind of she's in love with you, I really wish they would have touched on that more. We'll get into that in a second. But like, I feel like it's disrespectful to do to her the same that you did to your victims. Like, put her in the ocean. It just seems so fucked up.
And
or was it Dexter killing a part of himself?
Because he was intending on practically killing himself.
Yeah, I mean,
it was poetic justice in some way. That's the way I'm looking at it.
I mean, I get it. I don't know,
it comes full circle is the way I'm looking at it.
But like, Dexter's original series, 1, 2, 4, and I'll give parts of 5. And
5 was
3.
Hannah McKay? Or was that Lumen?
That was Lumen. That was the Barrel Girls.
Barrel Girls,
yeah,
Lumen?
because Lumen had just because you remember like
Hannah McKay was 6.
She was 6 and 8.
And 8.
Yeah, because she got caught, and 7 was the revelation.
Like
bullshit.
halfway through the season,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
The Travis Scott season kind of really fucked with me. I didn't like the religion stuff. I kind of saw where they were going with it, but I don't dig it. I don't.
Maybe it was the execution, but like in my opinion, that was also a really good season. I liked it because it showed range of, it's not just simple like, okay, you know, you got a serial killer here. One season you have the mob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Dexter taking on the mob. Then you got
what was that dude's name? Janko or something like that?
Something
Russian
like
mob.
that.
Dude, and he reveals he's gay.
Yes.
You killed my lover, so I'm trying to kill you. Like, what the fuck?
That was the aha moment
yeah.
of the season, saying that's why they're after him.
Yeah, because we needed the ultimate moment of like, why is this dude actually coming after Dexter?
This is not just simply like, you killed one of my henchmen. How
like,
many
that
times
was my
did
lover.
they lose henchmen? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it
all the
sucks,
time.
But
no, but I mean,
there was a deeper meaning behind it.
I feel like season, I want to say 5 kind of really gave the range because of Dexter finding an alternate love to Rita and dealing with what it is to actually feel human emotions.
Rest in peace, Dokes.
Right. Because if you remember in the beginning of season 5, right after Rita's death, Dexter's on the road. He comes to a truck stop or a boat yard or something like that.
I loved that.
And he just loses his fucking mind and kills an innocent with an anchor. And that was like one of the...
Yes and no. Like that dude mouthed off a little bit too much.
Tell your wife she could suck. And like Dexter, that showed real life emotion.
Yeah.
And I love that. But then the season just kind of falls off. And then you see Dexter building his story while also trying to help Lumen. And I love Lumen as a character. Like the actress is fantastic. I loved her in like Save the Last Dance. But
and he almost killed her.
Do people not realize that to this day,
McKay, he almost killed in the ice room?
So
was it her? And then he let her go because originally he was on.
No, it was the Christmas. It was like Santa's Enchanted Forest or something. It was like a Christmas theme park or something.
He was going to kill her because he knew that she was consistently. She was consistently killing people by poisoning them.
Yeah. He found that out.
But then he let her go, I guess because they got real close.
I think the most morbid Dexter moment for me that kind of just was unsettling was the police officer chick that killed her husband and her daughter, and Dexter goes into the bathroom and tries to do the thing with the neck and the dart or whatever. And she's like, she pulls the gun out and puts it to Dexter's face, and Dexter's like calmly explaining, you can't shoot me at point blank range with the GSR in your hands, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, that's fine. I'll just say that you raped me. Like, why is that your go-to? Like, of all things you could have said, you're a fucking police officer, bro. You could have just said that he was resisting. Like, what the fuck? But no, going into the later seasons, I feel like from 5 until about 8, you're getting more of a Dexter, like, finding himself moment, because you're dealing with different emotions. You're dealing with different characters. You're dealing with Deb finding out eventually that he is the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Which that was just a matter of
Actually,
time.
no. Did she ever actually find out he was... She knew he was a serial killer. But did she ever find out he was the Bay Harbor Butcher? Like, I know she found... Like, didn't she find the blood slides? Or no, all she saw was him killing Travis Marshall.
She saw him killing Travis Marshall, so she knew that he was a serial killer. And then... Guerra is the one that said, hey, he's the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Put him down. Like, that was such a gut-wrenching scene.
Oh my God. Probably the best season finale I have ever seen.
Deb's acting in that one. Jennifer Carpenter's acting was great because because the way she's pointing the gun and the way the composition of the camera is, and then you see her just like, Dex, I'm sorry. And then the gun fires. And you don't see who she shoots until the camera cuts over.
And Dexter tells her to shoot him.
Yeah, he even drops a knife, holds his arms out. Like, it's okay. Do what you got to do. And that was kind of like the mind games of like, I'm here. I'm still your brother.
But was that manipulation, though? I think it was him really sealing his fate. He was like, I would rather it be you versus getting the chair.
Right.
Or whatever. You know, like, I feel like
I think... And this is just a weird like thing for me, and it's going to sound weird saying this, but it's such a turn on for me after watching the chemistry of them throughout the seasons and stuff like that. Watching her now know that he's a killer, and also killing LaGuerta, his arch enemy, for the last like 2 seasons,
who had the hots for him,
at one point in time. And then the hottest part for me was like after Deb had done this most traumatic thing, she held her.
Yeah.
And then they walk hand in hand into the party. It's Dexter and Deb.
Like nothing happened.
He's still in the kill suit. She's in a beautiful dress. Like nothing happened. Yeah. You know she's traumatized and you know he's fucked up about what just happened. But like that scene, the way the composition is to me was so good. And that was the last good episode to me.
Because it was a great season finale.
Yeah, because then you lead into
your least favorite season, mind you.
Yeah. Because then you lead into the seasons where the shit starts fucking with me. Like Deb goes crazy. She becomes a private eye or a special investigator, whatever the fuck she was doing.
Vogel comes in.
And then Vogel comes in. Yeah.
I gotta say, like one of my favorite things of the final season was the fact that Vogel ended up bringing them two together to do joint therapy sessions. And my favorite part was right after Deb tried to kill both of them, you know, like herself and Dexter by driving the truck into the car. And then the next scene, they're just sitting there pissed off at each other on the couch. And
such a brother-sister moment.
Right. It's just, that to me was like, that was such a great scene.
Yeah.
You know?
So we're kind of getting off topic here, but like the ending of the final season and stuff like that, the actual series finale of like, Dexter riding off into not the sunset, the opposite, actually, a hurricane in Miami, which I am from Miami, so I kind of understood. Yeah. Dropping his sister into the water, proverbially killing himself and stuff like that.
Did he drop her in the water, or did he just leave her on the boat and let the boat sink?
No, he dumped her in the water because you actually see her fade away.
Okay.
And then she's still in her gown and stuff like that, and just falls down. Her eyes are still open and shit like that. He pushed it and then drove straight into the storm. And I think it should have ended there. I do agree with you. It should have ended with him going into the storm and then Batista seeing the news clip.
With not having any more Dexter.
Yeah. After that, it could have been over with. And then a couple years after that, we get New Blood. Mm-hmm. And I liked what they were trying to do with New Blood because they're like, oh, you didn't like the ending? Fine, we'll give you this one. But then the ending of that one sucked.
Yes and no.
No,
I feel like
there's so many fucking loose ends with that bullshit. Fuck that.
New Blood should have been extended into multiple seasons, and then ended up with the ending that they had. Because like that season is what I felt
should have been the
rushed.
final.
No, it felt rushed because it was like so much.
I gotta disagree with you there, and I'll tell you why.
And then Harrison comes in, and then he starts noticing some traits in Harrison that he might have that darkness in him as well. You know what he did with his school colleague and whatnot.
So let me tell you why I don't like New Blood is because of the way that it was executed. It didn't feel like it was rushed. It feels like they misappropriated a lot of the things that Dexter is. Okay. Like Dexter struggled for so long with like pretty much he's a fiend. He's an addict. He itches to kill, right?
Which is why Rita thought that he was on heroin.
Right. So you mean to tell me that this man went 10 years without even so much as killing anything? He's living in the woods, secluded away from people in what fucking Long Ridge, New York.
He went back to his roots where he went back to just hunting.
Yeah.
You know, so like, he's killing something.
He's killing something, but you know that doesn't satiate the need. So that was error one, which I can understand. I can let that one go. The second thing was they started to say that Dexter used to use like ketamine or something to tranquilize his people.
Yeah,
it was M99.
An animal tranquilizer.
It was M99 that it was using. And they're like, oh, Dexter used to use this all the time. This is, and I think this is kind of where they're going to go with the new season, Resurrection, because Angela Bishop, Chief Bishop or whatever, pulls out the whole like, oh, you used to use this to tranquilize people and take them out. No, he didn't. Ketamine was never a thing for him. It was M99. He used the fake name Jason Bateman or Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
And then he would secure it with a fake DEA license. He would trank people. And then, because Original Sin pointed out that he had Masuka make him the fake ID and shit. Like they pointed that out. M99 or whatever the fuck it was is like a tranquilizer for elephants. It could knock a whole, and he had to find the dosage. So that was the other one that I didn't like. The second, the third thing was, how the fuck are you going to end the season with the very final episode being that Angela calls Batista? And how did Batista not have the realization when she came to the fucking conference and stuff that's who she was talking about? Oh, didn't he have a son? Oh yeah, I think what was his name? Harrison. Like, come on, dude, that's your best friend. That's your socio, which is a cool play on words, by the way. Socio is Spanish for friend, but it also is a play on words for sociopath.
Yeah.
So you're going to save that until the last episode? Like, what the fuck, dude?
Which is why I'm feeling like the whole season was rushed. Like, they ended up trying to compile too many things together at once.
But then you're going to go ahead and end the series with his son shooting, like, him. And
it brings it back to him and Deb.
I do like the fact that him and Harrison had the kill moment, though. But I feel like it was one of those, it was entirely too late situations. Like when they killed, dude, you know what I'm talking about.
I feel like it was a way
Mr. Krabs.
Yeah. I feel like in a way, though, it was an attempt for Dexter to set Harrison free, though.
It was, but also he puked. So, pussy. I like that. I think my favorite scene in that portion of the series was when Angela calls and says, I don't need Jim Lindsay. I need Dexter Morgan. Because she found out that her friend was missing.
Yeah.
And she needed the forensics expert. She needed the vengeful killer. Because she found out that her friend was missing and found out that whatever his face is was possibly involved. And she's like, I don't need Jim Lindsay. I need Dexter Morgan. At that point, I thought it was going to take a turn where she was going to be accepting.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, the only person who to this day is alive that knows who Dexter is for real is Lumen.
Batista.
No, it's Lumen.
Oh, yeah.
Because Hannah McKay died of whatever the fuck.
They said probably cancer,
They said cancer, but she probably poisoned herself.
Or did Harrison do it?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Because they are going to point in this. I can't wait for Resurrection, man. We're getting so close.
And Harrison's coming back. Oh
yeah, I think.
Can you? I just want to try.
We're gonna be in fucking Atlanta when this drops.
The first scene where Harrison realizes that Dexter is still alive. It's like, Dad, I'm sorry, I can't do that right either.
I am looking. Yeah, right. You fucking failure. You can't even kill me, you piece of shit. No, I am looking less forward to the reunion of Michael C. Hall and Jack Alcott than I am with the Batista part. When Batista's in the hospital and says, hey,
you and I got some theories.
I've had plenty of theories about how they're going to go about this, and I wanted this to be a thing for a while. And then when they announced Resurrection, because I was the one that broke it to you, I was like, I think they're doing this.
And then we saw the trailer.
For it. I was like, okay. But Batista in the trailer walks up he's in the hospital, presumably looking at Dexter. So Chief Bishop called and told me that you were the Bay Harbor butcher. Like, he's almost questioning it. Like, does he not believe her? Did she get like dismissed when she tried to report it? Because at this point, Dexter's picture is obviously everywhere. That means people who are in Miami, like anybody who ever knew Dexter knows that that's Dexter.
Imagine Rita's kids finding out.
Yeah. And that's another thing in fucking New Blood. Where were they?
I mean, there was a point to him moving to where he moved to start a brand new life and leave everybody behind and everybody thinking that they're dead.
I mean, that is fair, but it's 10 years later. So at this point, the oldest, the daughter, would be 23, I think.
Yeah.
And Cody would be like 20. I think it was 3. Yeah, so they were adults. Like, but by now, in Resurrection, they're pushing 30.
Yeah.
They're closing in on the 30-year mark. And that was another thing I didn't like about New Blood was the age for Harrison. Harrison was not that old if you would have thought about it. If you would have done the math,
he would have been a little younger.
He would have been old. He would have been younger, I believe.
Not by much though. He was still
like, I think it was like 2 years or something like that, I think. But either way, like Resurrection is going to be crazy because I cannot wait to see what's going to happen.
Was older in the final season, like, because he was already talking and everything, and I want to say he was already at least 5 or 6.
Yeah, but this is 10 years later, so he should have been 16, not so he 17 or 18 or whatever. Yeah, whatever. But there was somebody who pointed out a huge theory about that or whatever.
And truth be told, like a lot of the shit on New Blood would not have happened if Harrison had not gotten overdosed at that party.
If he hadn't have been a teenager.
Yeah, basically, but
trying to live a normal fucking life,
fed like bad party drugs.
But speaking of that, let's talk about Original Sin.
Yeah,
Original Sin to me is the best sequel so far. I'm holding out for Resurrection because Original Sin is going to get more seasons. They've already confirmed season 2 and hopefully 3. I hope it goes 4 because we still need to see like the introduction of Chief Matthews. We need more Brian becoming the ice truck killer.
We need Dokes coming in.
We need Dokes coming in. His and LaGuerta's relationship started because remember in the very first season, she's like, here's your key back, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, I need to see more of that developed. Quinn didn't come in until episode 1 of season 3 in the original, so he wasn't there. But I still
he didn't come until later.
But he was in Vice and drugs and stuff like that. So I still need Miami? I still need to see more of like maybe his introduction to young Quinn. Like maybe they call in somebody because Dexter's drugged somebody or like that guy he tried to buy.
He was prone to get in trouble too. So.
Yeah. And the discrepancy in Original Sin that I didn't agree with was the fact that in the original series, Dexter said that he had never like tried pot or anything like that. But in Original Sin, it shows him getting high on accident, basically. Brownies.
Yeah.
With Deb. So like technically, yes, you have. But can we just talk about Dexter's girlfriend? That bitch was hot.
Yeah.
Dexter has a flawless record of females.
And Deb doesn't even talk about her in the
in the original series, like having a best friend.
So where did this chick even come from?
I don't know.
But I mean, like you're gonna have friends in high school, and then when you grow up, like you probably never talk to them again.
I'd say out of the sequels, though, like Original Sin is definitely my favorite. And even though it's not a sequel, it's a prequel, but still, like it's an alternative. It's a cool, so it counts.
Yeah.
Casting
came after original.
Let's talk about casting.
Oh my god!
Which actor plays the role the best? Who do you think they casted perfectly? I already got mine.
That played Batista.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
I think Masuka.
Because he looks like him. He looks like a younger version of him.
Yes, I could see that.
And then the Batista, and then the Masuka
Masuka's perfect.
Spot on.
I fucking do that.
He has a laugh down.
He nailed the laugh and the mannerisms. I think Deb's casting was pretty good. At first, like the first couple episodes.
At first, it was like, I don't know. But once you started seeing her mannerisms, the way she speaks, and
I want to say the final 3 episodes, I was like, yes, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Because you start to see him transforming into the Dexter we know.
And actually,
you start to see her transforming into the Deb we know.
Christian Slater as Harry.
I love that.
But it made sense.
It made so much sense. I loved it.
He was so
good.
Sense.
He was so good. And the person they got to play Dexter's mom,
yes,
was Laura Moser, was pretty spot on to the original mugshot of Laura Moser from the original Dexter series.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like Batista, go into that.
Batista, like I just feel like that man literally looked like a younger version of the Batista that we know.
That was Batista when he had La Pasión.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of why I always thought that Batista knew that what Dexter was, because he was so close with Dexter.
Quinn did too. Like Quinn
definitely.
knew.
There's nobody on this fucking earth who could tell me that Quinn didn't know.
No.
Between covering his ass with the blood splatter on the shoe,
yes,
to I didn't see anything. Did you? It looks like self-defense to me.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that Batista and Quinn at that point in the last season did not know.
Right.
Like
maybe not to the extent of like, yep, that's the Bay Harbor Butcher, but no, that there is something about Dexter that a lot of people haven't seen. And I mean, in a way, like, okay, you could argue that maybe he's still kind of naive to it or whatever. Because of the fact, think about it, like in the interrogation room in the final season, when they did the whole like, oh, it looks like self-defense to me, all of them wanted to do that. Dexter just happened to do what everybody was thinking. So they could have also still been naive and been like, oh, that was just a reflex.
Another way of manipulation, how his manipulation throughout various seasons have played out.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's
possibility. I'm not saying like that is concrete exactly what happened. But yeah, you could argue that they've known, and that just like that solidified it.
I want to say that Batista probably knew shortly in the middle of season 2, I believe it was. Which was that the one where he meets the psycho British bitch?
That was season 2.
Was that season? Yeah, because
it was either 2 or 3. No, it was 3.
It was 2 because she's the one that kills Dokes with the fire. So it was
Dokes
season 2.
died in the second season?
Yeah.
I thought it was 3rd.
No, because that was the Bay Harbor Butcher. Oh, damn it, Dexter, I knew you were the Bay Harbor Butcher. Yeah, that was season 2.
Yeah.
Lila, that was her name.
Yeah. Oh my God, like talk about toxic
I feel like Dexter kind of sort of Batista started to pick up on the shit there because of when he got mugged and he got stabbed up a little bit and stuff. And then later on in, I think it was season 4 with Trinity.
Yeah.
There was little tiny things like,
which that was a missed opportunity putting that as season 4 and not 3.
Yeah. Trinity, get it? I always thought that.
Yeah.
I did not like the Miguel Prada season. Like season 3 kind of fell off for me. George Washington King and the fucking don't
get me wrong, he's a great actor.
What's that guy's name? Grabo or the guy Freebo. Yeah, I hated that season.
I actually wasn't a fan of that one either.
I like the idea of them toying with like giving Dexter a friend who's like him, but I feel like they played it too. Like, don't get me wrong, Jimmy Smits. Jimmy Smits is a fantastic actor. I loved him in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah,
I loved him in Star Wars as Princess Leia's fucking adopted father.
Organa, right?
Yeah, like, General Organa.
General Organa, yeah.
I loved Jimmy Smits as an actor, but I feel like him playing Miguel Prado.
He played the part. Don't get me wrong.
Great, but I feel like the story just didn't think
off. It was a good fit. No,
like you've got him with a pregnant wife who's a real estate agent who, or she wasn't pregnant. Rita was pregnant.
But
she's like, so how far along are you? Because nobody knew. Dexter didn't even know at that point yet. And she's like, so how far along are you? Have you told him yet? And she's like, how'd you know? And she's like, come on, man. Come on.
Right.
Like, and they became friends. And then she was talking about selling the house. And it just seemed like a very sitcom-y.
A little bit.
And then you've got the final.
But it also allowed a little bit of humanity in Dexter's life.
I agree, but the ending of that season I didn't enjoy because, like, how are you going to fucking get into the whole fight with George Washington King and then off the bridge in the boatyard, get hit with a car, break your arm trying to get off the table when he's trying to kill you, and then show up to your own, like an hour earlier you were fine, and now all of a sudden you're showing up to your own wedding with blood coming out of your fucking cast. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
It wasn't a work-related injury because all your work-related buddies are at your wedding waiting on you to get there, you dumb fuck. There's just things about it that didn't make sense, but like Original Sin, with Batista, there was a particular scene where they're talking about how his cousin, Batista's cousin or whatever, owed money, blah, blah, blah. And then Dexter went and suddenly took care of that guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so, because Batista's doing like deep research on it. He's like, blah, I got to find out the killer.
Didn't he actually kill his cousin?
Yeah, he did. And then Batista starts doing the research, and Dexter like does the whole Dexter mind manipulate thing. Maybe you should focus your mind elsewhere. He's dead. It's not like he's going anywhere. Shit like that.
Right.
I think at that point, it started planting seeds for Batista to be like, there's something completely off with this guy.
But it also allowed him to have a little bit more trust in him because he's like, okay, all right. But
also, he's doing the right wrong thing.
Right.
Like, I think Batista's
kind of like
those,
a don't ask, don't tell kind of thing.
Because no matter what happens, like everybody in Dexter, like all of the episodes, every single season and episode of any spinoff or whatever, they all have a story. They're all good and they're all bad, except Batista. Batista's the only one who ever tried to be a good cop. He turned down a promotion. He didn't want to be, he was a lieutenant, assistant lieutenant at first because he didn't want to replace anybody when LaGuardia got suspended or whatever.
Very loyal.
He was a loyal guy. That's why I'm thinking like
just not to his wife.
Yeah, that's la pasión. I think that's kind of why I feel like he knew, but he knew that him being a good cop, the justice system was fucked.
Yeah.
And so guys like Dexter are necessary.
Yeah.
Dexter's a necessary
really
evil.
Hope that on Resurrection they play on that.
I hope that there's an acknowledgement, but I don't want them to make Batista the naive, stupid guy. Like, oh, Chief Bishop told me you were the Bay Harbor Butcher. I don't fucking believe that, bitch. Like, like it doesn't make
like the
because
Dexter
at this point,
equivalent of Detective Gordon on Batman.
Wait, hold on. Let me take my the Superman. Let me take my glasses off. Oh, hey, Clark. Where's Superman go? Dumb fuck.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be naive and not believe Chief Bishop because at this point we are technically 4 different versions of Dexter in. If you count Original Sin and the original Dexter and then New Blood and the stuff he learned there, there's too much on the table and too many convenient coincidences that make sense for Batista just to look at him and go, nah, it couldn't be. Like he's the only original one alive. He's the only one who was in a lot of the places where a lot of these people just went missing. He's the only one that had access to all the case files of all the random people that he's the only one. There's nobody else. It doesn't make sense for it to be Dokes or anybody because several people have died after that.
You know what I think is actually kind of funny? So now Dexter's going to be in New York.
I just had to do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but now Dexter's going to be in New York. But you remember that's how his cop girlfriend found Batista at a conference, right? What if they could, just, walk with me on this. What if there's another conference that goes on and he happens to see that Masuka is in town?
Oh, shit, dude.
Just like, he's reading the paper and like, Masuka made something out of himself.
I'm so happy that Resurrection is going to have so many different stars, like Uma Thurman and Peter Dinklage. I was about to say Henry Winkler. Rest in peace, Fonz.
And Neil Patrick Harris.
But
NPH, bro.
I need to know what happened to Quinn. What
if he's in the hospital with Batista? Like, Batista told him, it's like, you ain't gonna believe this shit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, I'll see it for myself kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they just haven't shown that yet because what if that's one of the surprises that they're keeping?
Yeah, maybe. Because you obviously can't keep it all in the trailer because that would fucking ruin it.
And then what if they have like this interaction?
I need a reunion.
Like, I need you to tell me that that you didn't really, do this or whatever. Like, I know what you're doing and what you've done. How in the world are you still alive?
How did you survive twice?
Right.
Motherfucker, like what happened to the hurricane shit and why didn't you call me?
Right.
Like, the only person who knew you were alive was Hannah McKay and she's dead. Like, what the fuck? You wrote her a letter, but not me. I'm your friend. La Passion.
They don't know nothing about him being
La Passion. Like, what happened, bro? Socio, I thought we were cool. No, dude, like I need there to be some sort of reunion because like I was saying at the beginning of this part of the conversation, there's too much out there now about Dexter.
Yeah.
Like Dexter, once this goes live, Dexter's picture is probably gonna be everywhere. You can't just escape New York, bro. Because like you said, Masuka probably made himself like famous, like some famous forensic tech. He's probably publishing magazines and doing shit. He's going to see a picture of Dexter, be like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then he's going to start having revelations about how he made a fake ID.
What if Batista brought all of them? You know what I mean? Just brought them all like, hey, guess who I'm going to go see?
He brings in a retired Chief Matthews. He brings in fucking like, and on.
At this point, I would probably argue that they're going to kill off the character. You know what I mean? Because at that point, he was already kind of old and retired and all of that stuff.
Fuck that, bro. Like, I want to see an old man Matthews in a walker, 90 years old, be like, I knew it all along. Harry told me about you when you were fucking 6 years old and how you got caught butt fucking a skunk or something. Yeah, I need senile fucking Chief Matthews to just show up making up stories. And nobody believes him because he is senile. Like, you remember that time you sliced that dude's...
the Bay Harbor butcher. My best guy trained him.
Like, oh, shut up, Grandpa. Go back to bed. Like,
Yeah.
I would not mind in Resurrection a little bit of comedy, but I definitely need this
Dexter
to be serious.
always had a little touch of comedy.
But as we saw from trailer 2, like, when Harry's like, I need you to be careful, and Dexter's like, I'm tired of fucking being careful. And he just goes like haywire. I need to, like, I am so excited about this. And the premiere episode debuts while we are in Atlanta. And we need to find some way on some TV somehow to fucking watch this thing. Yeah. Because I want, like, day one. I don't want to go online and see any fucking spoilers anywhere. I want to see this day one. I need to.
I don't care if we're out and about. Like, we're gonna make it.
I'm popping this shit on my phone.
We're
I'm
gonna
doing
make
something.
it a point to make it back. Like, if we got this HDMI to C charger.
Are we taking cable. The projector with us?
No, not the projector, but we got a cable that is like a HDMI adapter.
Oh, to the phone.
To plug into the phone, which is how we feed it to the projector.
That's dope.
We could do that because I'm quite certain they have a smart TV in the.
I mean, even if they don't, it's an HDMI.
Right.
It just plugs it in.
Put it in
bitch ass
into the TV. So there'll be ways to do it.
So. We've spent like half of this podcast talking about the Dexter series and stuff, but out of the 4, we haven't seen Resurrection yet, but the 3 currently, which one, how would you rate, like, in ranking? Like, how would you rank them?
I mean, even though I absolutely adored Original Sin, I still think the original series is the best. It's top tier because that's okay. For nostalgia reasons, for the most part, it's what got us into Dexter was the original series. With Original Sin a very close second, and then as of right now, if we're only talking about the 3, then New Blood is definitely on the bottom.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll kind of play against my own rules here, so I will say Original Sin is number 1 for me, just because I love like the origin of it all. Like,
and it was done accurately.
And it was accurate. I loved it.
Yeah.
Then I will go Dexter Original Series, season 1. Then the books, then seasons 2 through 8 or whatever. Then I'm putting Resurrection before I even see it above New Blood, just because I just don't.
You already know.
I just don't like New Blood, man. Yeah. I just don't. Like, we'll touch on that when the premiere episode of Resurrection happens. We'll come back and we'll talk. We'll do an entire episode
of nothing
but Dexter.
Even though we've covered quite a bit already.
I think we've done like 30 minutes of this, but like,
yeah.
So what other sequels do we like? Let's talk about horrible sequels.
Horrible sequels?
I'm saying Son of the Mask immediately.
Oh,
I love Jamie Kennedy.
Without question. That was probably a movie that they should have left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I agree. Oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. As much as I love both of these movies, I don't think it was necessary for us to have a Super Troopers 2.
Yeah,
I love the first one. The first one was my favorite movie of all time.
Horrible, but yeah,
it wasn't horrible.
Some things just need to be left alone.
Yeah. It wasn't horrible, but I just don't feel like it was necessary. Like, it was too little too late, basically. Yeah, if that would have happened like a couple years after, I'd have been like, okay, cool, this is awesome. But now they're working on a fucking third one.
Yeah.
It's called The Winter Soldiers or some shit. And as much as I hope it gets made, I also hope it doesn't get made. You know what I mean?
Or at the very least that they do it justice.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, just really quick to come back, Beverly Hills Cop 2 was better than 1. The Alphabet Killer one. I feel like it had more comedy, it had more structure, and all of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. I love that.
But 3, while it was good, it's
two is still goated. Axel F was decent.
Axel F was a phenomenal way to bring it back.
Bad Boys 2.
Bad Boys 2 was better than the first one.
3, Bad Boys goes like this. Bad Boys 1, not terrible. Bad Boys 2, goated. Bad Boys 3, could have done without it. Bad Boys 4, goated.
I haven't seen the fourth
one.
The
fourth one's fucking goated.
I don't think that I've even seen the third one, to be honest.
I think they fucked up because...
They only made 4, right?
They only made 4 so far, but I feel like they fucked up because Bad Boys 4 should have been Bad Boys for Life. They did it backwards. So it was bad. Yeah. It was Bad Boys for Life and then Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Yeah.
And it was like fuck that, bro. You fucked up. Because they didn't plan on making a 4th one.
Yeah, it just happened.
So they just went with the Bad Boys for Life.
Debacle, they were like, yeah, there's no way that another Will Smith movie is
right. Movies that should have never gotten sequels. I want to say that Toy Story 3, 4, and now moving on to 5 should have never happened. Toy Story 1, great movie. Toy Story 2, awesome.
And I think 3 was just depressing.
3 was depressing. 4 was even more fucking depressing.
Was it?
Yeah. 4 is the one with Forky.
I've only seen the first 3.
Terminator 2, goated movie. Anything after that, didn't need to see it.
Yeah.
Genesis was stupid. Actually, I take that back. I liked Rise of the Machines for a completely different reason than it being a Terminator film, just because I feel like that's more realistic in the world of Terminators. Like the government is in control of shit, and there's a bunker hidden somewhere in the mountains.
Yeah.
Like that's about as far as it goes.
Oh, Resident Evil. Yeah, the Resident Evil franchise.
Resident Evil 1 and 2 were awesome.
And then
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 were fucking horrible.
That's where it started falling off for me. And also falls into the category of what we're originally talking about, where the sequels were better than the originals. Mm-hmm. Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse was fucking phenomenal. Okay. And here's why. It was the most accurate to the game series.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. Yeah,
because it was Resident Evil 2 and 3 Nemesis mixed together.
How many of them had Letty in them? Michelle Rodriguez. That bitch is hot. Was she in all of them?
She was in all of them.
I think it was like 2 or 3 she was missing in.
I don't
know, bro.
I want to say that she was in all of them. And then I had to sit there like,
I think the Resident Evil,
did this character come from?
Yeah, I think the Resident Evil movies are a lot like the Alien or Predator movie. Like, please stop fucking making Predator movies. Yeah. Please stop making Rocky
At that point,
movies.
They were beating a dead horse.
Please stop making Rocky movies. Please stop making Creeds. Like, we don't, stop. Yeah. I'm done with that shit. Please stop making.
When are we going to get another Police Academy?
Right. The fucking white beatboxer guy.
Which honestly, I ain't going front. I think Police Academy 5 was one of my favorite ones.
All right. So since we're talking about sequels and movies that should be made and shouldn't be made, we're going to go ahead and with the grand finale of this podcast, and we're going to talk about one of my all-time favorite movie series, and there's a lot of them, so this is going to cover the conclusion of this. We're going to talk about the Halloween series.
Oh.
Like, I am a huge Halloween nerd. We're going to talk about this in depth because and
this is probably going to be a controversial one because everybody has a very different opinion on a lot of these.
There's a lot of, there's different cults out there too. Like, I go to horror conventions all the time, and you've got people who hate Season of the Witch, and you got people who love it. Personally, I think it's a goated movie. I don't think it should have been called Halloween.
Right. I don't think it should have been part of the series. Like, now, if it's a great fucking movie, it would have been great. Yeah.
Rapid fire question. What's the best Halloween movie? Out of all, I think there's 11 of them.
You're talking rapid fire?
Yeah, I'm talking just off top of your head. Best 2. 2? Which 2?
The original 2.
The original 2? Okay. Yeah. For me, I'm going to have to, and this is where it gets controversial. Like, I'm going to say 4. What the fuck is that?
That's the ice machine.
Okay. I'm going to say Halloween 4.
Okay, when they first introduced Danielle Harris.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
liked it.
I love Danielle Harris's character. I don't like what they did with her in 5.
Honestly, this is
I damn sure don't like what they did with her in 6. Like, you mean to tell me Michael Myers fucked? Like, that's the Cult of Thorn series to me is a hate and love.
Did he make noise?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't want to know. That's what ruins I love the whole Man in Black theory. I love the Cult of Thorn theory. Like, I feel like
they went too far with that.
I'm one of those random people who enjoys it. Paul Rudd was in the movies. Like, I love the idea of Michael Myers having, they finally gave him direction to kill his entire bloodline because it was based on some sort of Sam Hain ritual.
Which I guess explained the drive to do so.
And every time I see the Man in Black, I forget the actor whose name plays it, but every time he finally reveals himself as Mr. whatever the fuck his name is, I always like the Jim Carrey in me goes, he's a pedantic, pontificating, pretentious bastard. He's a belligerent old fart with worthless, steaming pile of cow dung.
Yeah.
Figuratively speaking. Because it's that same guy. He's the judge from Liar Liar.
No kidding.
That's a movie I wish would have got a sequel. It probably wouldn't have worked well, but it did. But no, so Halloween. All right. So your take on the Rob Zombies. Both of them.
The first one was great. Okay. I loved what he did with it.
I agree.
I love the fact that he took more of a backstory and explained it, and then also showing the descent into Michael Myers becoming
madness,
who he was going to become.
Yeah.
He was a fairly, I mean, lack of a better term, normal
mild-mannered.
child. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that loved his mother. He loved, you know, the family environment, but he had a darkness to him. And he was pushed around a lot.
It gave a sense of a real life scenario to Michael Myers.
It
like
gave
his
some
bad
humanity.
parenting is what led. Yeah,
he was
bullied. His parents were pieces of shit.
He was in a toxic household.
Stepfather Ronnie was trying to bone his sister.
Right, you know, so
you crippled fuck. I come on there and I'll skull fuck the shit.
It aided in the descent into madness that he had.
But come on. Every single one of us who has ever been bullied has had that thought in their head where they want to go hide behind a bush and just beat the shit out of their bully.
He just never has been taught the difference between reality and intrusive thought.
Right. Oh man, talking about the Halloween movies always gets me like going because I'm super passionate about. I have met so many of the Halloween actors that played Michael Myers. So I met Nick Castle, I met Dick Warlock, I met Tyler Mane, I met James Hugh Courtney.
Okay,
I've met a majority of them. I even got to meet John Carpenter one time, and technically he played Michael Myers too, even though he created him. Him and Deborah Hill. Yeah. So like interesting concepts of. Everybody has their different takes. Mm-hmm. Like there are people who will tell you that they could have made Halloween 1978 and stopped, and there should have never been another one.
It could have been self-standing, but
I personally am a fan of 2018, 2020, and 2021.
I agree. I was actually wondering if we were going to get into that.
Yeah, Halloween Kills ends in fucking 2018.
Halloween Kills out of those, I think was the best one.
You think so?
The fucking it takes a village scene.
Yeah.
And then Michael just picks up the mask and annihilates.
Oh, that's a badass fucking scene where he just puts it on and just goes nuts.
What but also
the flashback scene too.
Also, for Halloween Kills, there was something that really resonated with me.
What's that?
It was the hospital scene when the whole mob was chasing this one man that they thought was.
Oh, they drove him crazy.
Drove him to suicide. And honestly, I felt that was the most accurate depiction of what humanity is today.
Halloween Kills also has the best kill scene I've ever seen in any of the Halloween movies. The door gun scene where Michael kicks the door and chick shoots herself in the face.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm talking about? Where she's like aiming the fucking Desert Eagle and just pow! Blows her fucking face off. I love that.
Also, I love the little nod to Season of the Witch and Halloween Kills when all those kids were in the park. They had
and they're wearing the silver shamrock masks.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. All right, let's talk about that for a second. Season of the Witch. I love that movie. Like, I'm at a point now where I don't care that it's a Halloween 3 movie, and I'm glad that they showed Michael Myers at least once in the movie when the kids are watching Halloween on Halloween.
Right. But they saw the trailer for the movie that was supposed to be on later on that night.
So the reason why I love Halloween 3 so much is because it's unique. It's a different horror movie. It was something that had never, because we've seen the slashers, we've seen the gore movies. Like Halloween set the precedent for suspense and slashers. It wasn't a horror film, it was a slasher film. Because you don't ever act like the first one, if you really think about it, was mild-mannered. There really wasn't a whole lot. Yeah. Like, I mean, you get like a dude stabbed up against the wall, you get a neck cut or something like that, but you don't actually ever see any gushing blood.
But
like,
that's
it didn't
where
get violent
Friday
until
the 13th comes in, because that's when slashers became gory.
That was a horror. That was an actual.
But that's a whole
movie.
Different conversation.
Yeah, we'll talk about Friday the 13th or another podcast,
which is such a missed opportunity. It was just Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it was. And
it's the only one this year.
And it was Jason's birthday.
And it was the only one this year.
Yeah, and it was Jason Voorhees' birthday too.
June 13th. Yeah.
But no, Season of the Witch to me was probably, I think I enjoyed it so much. When it first came out, I fucking hated it. Because I was still young when it was on tape and I didn't really like it.
Because you're expecting it to be Halloween 3.
Because when I remember being in Miami and I went to a place called Cat's Videos, like a mom and pop video rental place. I used to get wrestling VHS tapes all the time.
VHS, yeah.
But then I got the Halloween movies and stuff like that. And Season of the Witch was one of those movies where I felt it was necessary for them to at least put Michael Myers in it a little bit, but I also felt very strongly that I enjoyed the movie because it was unique. It was something different. I didn't understand it when I was younger, but as I got older, I understood that they were trying to go with, what was it? What do they call it? An anthology or something like that? They were going to make like different versions. Like how like, Michael Myers was essentially dead in 2. And they were just going to go ahead and make like horror anthology movies. And Season of the Witch was supposed to be like the first one.
Right. Kind of like a creep show kind of thing. Where it ended up being like different renditions of different Halloween-esque stories.
I think Malik Makad wanted to go with like what was it? Like, what do they call it? Fucking Tales of the Crypt. Yeah. Twilight Zone kind of like each story's different type shit.
That and also one thing that we can also speak on with Halloween 3, I feel like they already intended on doing Halloween 4 the way they intended to. They needed something to fill the time gap.
You think so?
Because think about it, Halloween 4.
I don't know, man.
He's being transported as a corpse to another hospital. What happened in between that?
I don't know, man, because I've seen so many different documentaries and behind the scenes of all the Halloween movies, and it always comes down to loopholes in contracts and rights. Because the idea was with Malik Makad, Michael Myers wasn't allowed to die. You can't kill Michael Myers at all. And so going from Season of the Witch into Halloween 4 was a very interesting take, because I believe like there was rights issues or something. Somebody along the lines was like, yeah, we want to make a Halloween movie because Season of the Witch bombed, and we need to bring Michael Myers back, but how do we do that? And they couldn't figure out who like owned the rights to it, and they're like, well, no, Michael's dead. And then Malik Makad was like, no.
What was it? It wasn't Paramount, right?
No, it was
Touchstone?
I don't know who it was. I think it was like Miramax or New Line or something, like with somebody.
It was Miramax.
I think it was like Miramax or something.
New Line was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. And eventually Friday the 13th, which became Jason movies, not Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th started off with Paramount, and then
the final Friday movie was Manhattan. And then 9 was Jason Goes to Hell.
Jason Goes to Hell was the first
X,
one.
Then Jason versus Freddy.
Yeah, but Jason Goes to Hell was the first one that was New Line. That was like when they made the transition.
That's because Nightmare was there, and that's where the introduction of Freddy Krueger happened. And originally, they were supposed to do Freddy versus Jason back then, but it took them 15 fucking years.
Freddy versus Jason versus
That's
Ash,
a whole nother conversation. We'll get into that.
Which was a comic book series where they were going to intertwine Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th, because you actually see the Necronomicon.
Yeah. No, you see a lot of other horror movies stuff.
So I actually started a discussion one time.
Stop talking about Friday the 13th and get back to Halloween, you bitch.
Is Jason a Deadite?
Yes. No, maybe. I don't know.
And is that why Ash is then...
Pamela Voorhees, 10 out of 10 would smash. Next question. No, going back to Halloween. So which timeline do you follow the most? Like, which one do you acknowledge as the actual timeline? Do you go 1, 2, H2O, or do you go 1, 2018, kills, ends, or do you go...
That's a really good question.
Because, I mean, like, there's different fandoms and different cults. Do you disregard the sibling stuff? Like, how do you go? Do you skip 1 and 2? Do you go 1, 4, 5, 6? Like, where do you go with any of this?
I honestly like the fact that they use the sibling thing as a completely different timeline, including like the Men in Black and so on and so forth, because it did seem significantly more supernatural. Whereas if you go in 1, 2, and then into 2018 and whatnot, it made more sense.
Well, I mean, 2018 completely disregards 2.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 2018 completely disregards 2 altogether. It goes 1, 2018. That's it. They disregard 2 completely.
Oh, right, because in the original...
They even acknowledge that. They're like, isn't that his sister? Like, no, that's just something somebody made up along the way. Like, they played that off in the movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like, the sibling thing didn't happen until 2 when Laurie's having flashbacks of young Michael Myers while he's in the fucking sanitarium.
Right.
So, like, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. My timeline is always weird because when I go to cons and stuff and we start talking about this shit and I make random friends talking about Halloween, mine is always, I go 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
And then that's that. Like
and then at the end of 6, that's it.
Basically,
when Loomis is dead, that's it for me.
Right.
That was a good one. I'm leaving that in. I'm not editing that out. But no, like, so after that, we get like that's when the timeline shifts and they bring back Laurie for H2O. And so it goes 1, 2, H2O,
and then
Resurrection.
Kill her off in the beginning of Resurrection.
That's because it was a contractual obligation. She had signed on for 2 movies. She read the script for Resurrection, was like, fuck that. I'm not doing this movie. The only way I'm going to appear is if I die in the first act. And so they're like, fuck it. We'll kill you off in the like first scene.
Right.
So they did. Which begs the next question. Which one is the worst Halloween movie? Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 or Halloween Resurrection?
Oof.
This is a tough one for me to answer because they're both horrible for different reasons, but I have my
Rob
answer.
Zombie's Halloween 2. I would rather watch Resurrection
Thank you.
and see Busta Rhymes square up with Michael Myers.
Also, while we're on the concept of Halloween Resurrection, shout out Thomas Ian Nicholas. I love you, and I need you on this fucking podcast because I want to talk to you about fuck American Pie. Like, don't fuck American Pie. I love American. I want to talk to you as a fan of Halloween about what it was like to be in the MTV generation of fucking Halloween. Because
I kind of like what approach that they had. Maybe the execution wasn't so great, but the approach.
I love the mask. That's about
I
it.
love the approach of like, imagine though.
Yeah.
What would people, especially in today's time, like they could have even waited with this concept until today's time with the TikTokers and all that stuff. And then
because now we're in the social media generation.
Right. But also it was kind of perfect for the timeline because we were in that reality TV generation.
You know,
what better place to do that with a Halloween movie of somebody trying to make a reality TV show out of the Myers house.
I'll tell you a little piece of truth here. The only thing that pisses me off about Resurrection, and most people always go to the Busta Rhymes Kung Fu thing. That's not what pisses me off.
Honestly, that made more sense than anything.
That did make sense. What pisses me off is the actual Myers house itself.
Okay.
It's not the original Myers house. They made it like almost a fucking old mansion. Like an old, like Transylvania-ish. Yeah. And then there's underground tunnels. There's a fucking cage Michael's sleeping in. They found the high chair where they had like the handcuffs and shit on it. The fucking like the underground tunnels for him to get in and out, like all that shit. Like it almost looked like a prison.
Yeah, but
it was fucked.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also the house was so big that they went into like 20 different rooms and did not see Michael cross paths with them one time until Busta Rhymes did the whole like, what the fuck, Mike? And smacks him in the head and Michael just turns around and walks away. What a gangster. How much of a fucking, he's like,
you're right.
You ain't got nothing to eat in this house? Go get me some bit bookies and just fucking smacks Michael in the head. Michael's just like, okay, and then just turns his head and just walks away.
Yeah.
But I loved the transition from H2O into Resurrection.
It did.
Like where Laurie chops dude's head off, finds out that it's not actually Michael, goes crazy, and then ends up in the sanitarium, hides the medication. Because that kind of is the same character she plays.
Wants to stay alert because she knows he's coming.
It's the same character she plays in the 2018 horror films, except for she's secluded. She's still smart about it. She's preparing. I knew you'd come back. Like shout out Jamie Lee Curtis. Still to this day,
queen.
She's the Scream Queen. She's the GOAT, and I love her to death. But I really wish that she would have given Resurrection a chance. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like after they killed her character off in the first scene, that was where the rewrites happened. And that's where they pivoted into the MTV generation of Michael Myers. I feel like if she would have agreed to stay on, we could have gotten more of an H2O vibe.
Yeah.
Where she is the huntress. Like she knew he would come. She goes to kill him on the top of the roof. He gets away. And then the rest of the movie is spent with them chasing each other.
And trying to sabotage this reality TV crew and shit.
Yeah. It's like...
Be like, no, you guys are insane. You shouldn't be doing this. You need to get out of here. Blah, blah, blah.
Besides the house thing, though, like I think one of the other things that gets me about Resurrection, it was like they were trying to add too many stars to it. Like they had Thomas Ian Nicholas, who's coming off of American Pie fame. Yeah. They had Tyra Banks. They had Busta Rhymes. They had... Like, I mean, yeah, they did the same thing with LL Cool J and H2O.
Which is funny. Tyra Banks was from American Pie fame as well, you know? Like,
was she? Tyra Banks wasn't in American Pie?
She was Kevin's girlfriend in the original.
That was Tara Reid.
You heard me.
Tyra Banks is the black supermodel, you fucking idiot.
My fault. Yeah,
God. I'm leaving that in too. Fuck you.
Damn, you're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just found out how dumb fucking he is. No,
pre-Sharknado,
yeah, pre-Sharknado. No, but I like Resurrection over Halloween 2, Rob Zombie, and the reason why I don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is because
I didn't like the White Horse part.
the White Horse thing always gets
killed
me.
it.
It's too to me. Like, it's too mommy issues.
Okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, his mommy fucking killed himself, and like now that's the superpower that drives him to like, you know, we will be together again.
He didn't know
like,
that his mom died anyway.
Right, exactly. Because he was in the sanitarium. No, he was in the sanitarium.
They don't get newspapers.
No, I don't. And if he did,
somebody maybe let him know?
No, I don't know, because if he did get newspapers, he was making masks.
Damn you, Danny Trejo.
Dude,
if anybody told him it was Danny Trejo's character.
So hold on. There is an alternate version of Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, and it is hard to watch because not only the Danny Trejo scene, but there's a full-on grape scene in there. Like, have you seen that version?
Yeah.
Where the two custodian people like lock the girl in the room.
In Michael
and then
Myers'
Michael busts in there and saves her.
Messing with his mask and stuff like that. Yeah. And then Michael ends up like kind of saving her.
Yeah. He kind of has it like a hero moment, but that's such a like Rob Zombie, I get it.
He had a different motive.
Like
he was like, no, I'm gonna kill these guys that are messing with my stuff.
Like Rob Zombie, I get it, but that was a fucked up scene. That did not need to be in the movie.
No.
And Danny Trejo begging for his life is like, Mikey. Like, he refers to him as a small child.
I was good to you.
I was so good to you. Like, I gave you like fucking life and shit. Like, it was cool. It was
companionship.
So you felt bad for Danny Trejo's character.
Yes, absolutely.
But talking about alternate versions of the film, I have an alternate version of Halloween 2. Yeah. Where it disregards all of the White Horse shit. Like, we share a Plex server, so if you ever get a chance, go on to the Halloween films and look at Halloween 2 fan cut. It's somebody took all the deleted scenes and restructured, recolored, rescored the entire. It's a very well done fan cut. Like, you can't even tell a fan did it. It's by Cole Edits. Shout out to Cole. Mm-hmm. I follow him on Instagram, and I found it because he's working on Halloween Aftermath right now, which is kind of like in between the COVID kills and before ends. So it's kind of like Rogue One of Halloween. Okay. So it's kind of cool. And I really love his edits. And I saw the trailer for, Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie Cole Edits cut. Mm-hmm. And so I downloaded it. I'm not even going to tell you how I got it. Sorry, Cole. And I watched it, and it's 2 hours of some of the most insane shit because it picks up directly where Halloween 1 ends.
Which is technically what it's supposed to
like,
do.
It goes from the swimming pool scene where Laurie loses her fucking mind, shoots him, thinks he's presumably dead, and then she's walking down the street bloody. Halloween 2, the fan cut starts right there. And
where she's being picked up or something?
Yeah, where Hatchet or whatever, Sheriff Brackett is picking her up and goes into, it foregoes the whole like her going insane. But it's like a moral reality of her. Like, she just shot a man.
Yeah.
Like, of course you'd freak the fuck out. She's covered in blood. Yeah. And then it goes to the hospital scene where her leg's broken and they're like stitching her up. And then like she escapes the hospital and he's chasing her in the rain, which is a really cool cinematic look, by the way.
Nice and White Satin is playing.
Yes. No, it's probably White Zombie if we're being honest.
It was Nice and White Satin. The whole movie, like it just played like throughout. It was damn near the whole soundtrack.
So like composition wise, like the fan edit, I love that they kept that original scene in there with Michael Myers chasing her in the rain, because that's a very original Halloween 2 like esque, like the escape of the hospital. She's trying to yell. Nobody could hear her. They're within arm's distance of where she's at.
Right.
And the mask, the Rob Zombie version of the mask, has the longer hair. So when it's raining, it looks like an actual deteriorated piece of shit. Yeah. The mask is very dilapidated. I love how it looks, but the fan edit foregoes all the White Horse shit. So it makes, and then they kept in, there's actually, I think I told you this while we were at work one time discussing it. There's 3 endings to Halloween 2.
Right.
There's the, Laurie puts on the mask and comes out.
Yeah, you told me.
And then there's, Laurie puts on the mask, comes out and gets shot. And then there's the Michael rips off the mask and says, "Die to Loomis," and stabs him version. And then they just unload on the fucking shed. So there's 3 endings to this movie. And I've seen all 3 of them. And my favorite one is obviously the one where Laurie gets shot.
Really?
Yeah, because that ends it. There's nothing else. Like, Michael's dead, bro. Loomis and him got into a fight, and she comes out in the mask like it's a victory for her, like she won. And the cops are like, she's evil, kill her because of the mask.
That makes sense.
And then it goes, like, it's done. Instead of the original ending to fucking Halloween 2, where it's like you see Michael and Laurie walking hand in hand with Mommy and the White Horse. Fuck that movie. Fuck that bullshit. Hate that. I hate that. I would much rather sit and watch Resurrection on repeat than watch Rob Zombie's original cut of Halloween 2. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie almost got Halloween 3. We almost got a proper, for the first time ever, Halloween, actually Halloween, because they were going to do it in 3D. And then they're like, well, your ideas suck and you can't kill off Michael Myers. So fuck you. We're taking the rights away and selling to somebody else. And then they sold
John Carpenter was against it to begin with.
John Carpenter hated Rob Zombie because how are you going to spend like an hour and 5 minutes of your movie like little boying Michael Myers? Like, we didn't need to know that.
And then like everything else just kind of thrown together.
He's the fucking shape because the second half of the movie is Halloween 1. Just more gruesome.
Yeah.
Although I will give Rob Zombie credit for casting Tyler Mane as Michael Myers, because Tyler Mane is a legit 7'2". I have pictures in my phone right now of me standing next to Tyler Mane. That dude is fucking huge. Like, him in the Michael Myers jumper with the mask on, staring over the couch scene where he's like looking over the little boy watching TV and just doing the head tilt.
Him putting it on.
Yeah,
you know
dude, he's fucking like, tall as shit.
How huge this man was.
But yeah, no, the Halloween franchise, man, is one of my favorites. And I feel like at some point we're probably going to have to touch on that in another podcast. We'll do like an entire horror, like, anthology series of Halloween, Friday the 13th, the Scream series, because that's another one that has like 7 of them now. There's another one coming out too. I think we'll touch on Nightmare as well.
Since we are talking about Rob Zombie briefly or whatever, come on, bro. Family Firefly. And we're talking about sequels that were better than the originals. Devil's Rejects was hands down better
than House.
Than House of a Thousand Corpses. Not taking nothing away from
the knife
House
scene to this day still gets me.
Huh?
The fucking knife scene in the...
Oh, yeah.
That still gets me.
Yeah.
But anyways... So we're going to go ahead and cut this off, man. Hour and a half of our very first inaugural podcast episode.
It was kind of all over the place, but hey, it was the first one.
We already said we were talking about sequels and 2000s movies and stuff, and technically those were in the 2000s, so it still counts, you know what I'm saying? But ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you popping in and checking us out. We hope that an hour and 30 minutes of your time is enough to get you to be a fan of ours. Welcome to the Addicted to Chaos podcast, and we will be back in probably a couple weeks when we go to July or when we go to Atlanta. We're going to do one with, let's try to get everybody. We have 6 inputs on this thing. Let's rock it, man.
Let's do it.
Let us know in the comment section if you see any clips of this, of what you want us to talk about, because A2K is a podcast of random chaos and conversation. And that's basically where we're going to leave it. I love you all. And right before we go, I'm going to do this. Oh yeah. All right. My ears hurt. Timmy, sign them off.
All right, man. Thank you guys so much for listening, and stay addicted.